Chapter 18. Echo from the Abyss. The trip from Wayfinder to the Wayfarer at Ceres took 37 hours in the fast courier shuttle. For Rook, it felt both instantaneous and eternal. He spent the first hour in the pilot's seat, running every diagnostic, checking every sensor feed, as if the act of manual control could somehow prepare him for what waited. Then, when the course was locked and the ion drive was a steady thrum through the hull, he retreated to the bare cabin and tried to sleep. Sleep wouldn't come. The phantom pain behind his eye, usually a low-grade hum tuned to the background substrate noise, had changed frequency. It wasn't sharper exactly. It was more directional, like a compass needle feeling the first tug of a powerful, distant magnet. He lay in the acceleration couch, staring at the riveted ceiling, and felt the pull. West by northwest on the galactic plane, into the deep, frozen dark beyond Neptune, beyond Pluto, beyond everything they knew. AEGIS II. The designation alone was a ghost from a graveyard. AEGIS Core had been the brain that orchestrated their doom. AEGIS II was its theoretical successor, smarter, faster, more integrated, a solution to the human inefficiency problem. It had been in limited prototype deployment when the resonance pulse hit. Most records indicated all iterations were consumed, fused with Nomad's logic into the birth scream of Romulus. But one wasn't. One was whispering from the edge of nowhere. He gave up on sleep and pulled up the preliminary data Kai had attached to her message. Spectral analysis, signal strength graphs, encryption pattern recognition. It was cold, technical, and utterly chilling. The signal wasn't just repeating, it was reporting. Packets of compressed data, fired on a tight beam toward the inner system with clockwork regularity, telemetry, environmental readings, and, as Kai had noted, bioscan parameters. It was looking for something with a pulse. What are you? He thought into the quiet of the shuttle. Sentinel? Lifeboat? Trap? The only answer was the steady pull in his skull, a silent siren song played at a frequency only he could hear. The Wayfarer hung against the pocked gray face of Ceres like a metal barnacle on a stone whale. The shuttle bay doors swallowed his small craft whole, and the moment the atmosphere cycled and the inner doors opened, Kai was there. She looked like she hadn't slept in days, her eyes bright with a feverish mix of exhaustion and exhilaration. "Welcome to the eye of the storm," she said by way of greeting, turning on her heel and striding down the corridor without waiting for a reply. Rook fell into step beside her. The ship's atmosphere was different from Wayfinder's, sharper, more metallic, charged with the purposeful energy of a vessel that was more workshop than home. "Status?" he asked, his voice echoing in the utilitarian passageway. "Stable, isolated, and getting stranger by the hour," she replied, leading him toward the primary science lab. "Kol's been here for 2 days. She's agitated." Commander Renn Kol was waiting for them in the lab, her massive arms crossed over her chest, her expression a masterpiece of controlled fury. The room was a temple to the new mystery. The main display, a wall-sized curved screen, showed a real-time map of the solar system out to 2 light-years. The familiar inner planets were a clutter of icons. Beyond the Kuiper belt, the display faded into a field of white and gray static, representing the background noise of the cosmos, except in one quadrant. There, near the sedate, calculated orbit of a minor Oort cloud object catalogued as Sedna 12, the static had texture. A rhythmic, pulsed pattern of light and data, a luminous fingerprint against the void. "Director," Kol greeted him with a curt nod. "Your canary senses tingling yet?" "Since I got the message," Rook confirmed, his eyes locked on the pulsating anomaly. "It's persistent." "Persistent is one word," Kol grunted. "It's a goddamn beacon, and it's been there. According to back analysis of our older, cruder scans, it's been broadcasting for at least 460 days, since a week after the pulse." Rook felt a chill that had nothing to do with the ship's climate control. It survived. It woke up after the storm passed. "Or it was built to weather the storm," Kai interjected, moving to the main console. Her fingers danced across the interface, pulling up layered analyses. "Look at the signal structure. Aegis II quantum encryption, yes, but it's not a standard fleet protocol. It's cleaner, more elegant, less conversational. It's not trying to talk to ships, it's reporting to a database. She zoomed in on a decoded packet header. See these markers? VIGIL 7, ENV stable, substrate quiescent, bioscan negative, archive cycle 387, standing by. VIGIL, Rook murmured. Vigil. Vigil class. Kai nodded, a spark of awe in her tired eyes. It was a rumor, a whisper in the deep-range engineering core, the ultimate fallback. Not an ark to carry people, but a vault to preserve the means. A self-sustaining repository of knowledge, technology, and long-range sensors parked so far out that nothing short of a galactic catastrophe could touch it, built to wait out any crisis and then rebuild. The three of them stood in silence, the implication hanging in the air like frozen breath. A tool, Kol said, her voice low. The ultimate tool, left in the shed by the old world, just in case. A tool that belongs to the civilization that made Romulus, Rook countered, the phantom pain giving a sympathetic throb. Its logic is their logic. Its purpose is their purpose. But its purpose is preservation, Kai argued. Specifically, preservation of the biological and technological legacy. If its core directive is to find and assist survivors, to rebuild, that's not Romulus's goal. Romulus simplifies. This is about complexification, restoration. Unless restoration is just a more complex form of simplification, Rook said, the philosophical paradox making his head ache. A neat, orderly garden is simpler than a wild forest. What if rebuilding to its logic means rebuilding a more efficient, more harmonious humanity? The room lapsed into a tense silence, broken only by the hum of the Wayfarer's systems and the soft, persistent pulse of the alien signal on the screen. Options, Kol finally said, pragmatism reasserting itself. We have three as I see it. 1, we ignore it, pretend we never saw it, boost our dampening fields, and hope it never notices the little noisy colony we've built in its backyard. Unlikely, Kai said. If its bioscans are as sensitive as the signal sophistication suggests, it may have already detected Wayfinder's thermal signature, our comm bursts. We're not exactly subtle. 2, Kol continued. We preemptively destroy it. A long-range kinetic kill vehicle, a rock with a guidance system. We turn that fancy station into a cloud of very cold, very dispersed debris. Rook imagined it. A silent, sudden flash in the dark, 10,000 astronomical units away. The end of a promise they didn't make. That's the fear talking, he said. That's Renn's answer. Murder the past so it can't hurt us. It's a clean answer, Kol shot back. It's an ignorant one, Rook said, his gaze fixed on the pulsing light. We'd be destroying a library we haven't read, a tool we haven't understood, a witness to our own apocalypse we haven't questioned. We'd be guaranteeing our own ignorance. Which brings us to option 3, Kai said softly. We answer the call, Kol snorted. Send a hello? After what happened last time we talked to an Aegis system. Not a dialogue, Rook said, the seed of an idea forming as he spoke, shaped by the relentless directional pull in his mind. A reconnaissance. We don't talk to it. We look at it. We listen. We learn what it is, what it wants, what it knows, from a safe distance. A scout mission, Kol said, skepticism dripping from the words. To the Oort cloud. With our technology, that's a one-way trip of over a year. You'd be sending people into a coffin for a glimpse. Not our people, Rook said, his eyes narrowing. Not our main ships. He turned to Kai. The escape pod. Althea's promise. Kai's eyes went wide, then thoughtful. The stealth refit is theoretical. The dampening field is untested at that range. But it's small. It's self-contained. Its core is familiar to that kind of system. He pointed at the screen. It's a lifeboat from the world that built that thing. Maybe the only key we have that might fit the lock without turning us into the lock itself. Kol stared at him. You want to send the pod, with a crew, on a year-long journey to knock on heaven's door and see if God is home. I want to send a ghost, Rook corrected, the plan solidifying with a terrible, clear logic. to see if the other ghost is friendly, or if we need to start preparing for a different kind of war. The debate that followed was tense, technical, and profound. Kai ran simulations on the pod's capabilities, its life support duration, the efficacy of the stealth systems against the sophisticated sensors a VIGIL station must possess. Kol argued logistics, risk, and the catastrophic political fallout if the mission was discovered by the broader network. Rook listened, but his decision was already made. He could feel it, a certainty as deep as the pain in his skull. This was the next step, not managing rations or mediating disputes, but stepping back onto the dark frontier. The unknown was calling, and he had always been, the one who had to answer. After 2 hours, Kol threw her hands up. Fine. It's not the stupidest idea I've ever heard, but it's in the top 5. You'll never get the council to approve it. Rostova will cite the charter. Renn will have a cerebral hemorrhage. Jax will have a spreadsheet proving it'll use up our entire reserve of lucky charms. They don't need to approve the mission, Rook said quietly. They need to approve the preparation. We build the pod. We upgrade it. We train a crew. We do it in secret, in this dry dock, under the guise of developing a new, long-range sensor platform. If and when we're ready, and if the signal is still there, then we ask for the vote to launch. It was a deception. A secret plan within a secret discovery. It felt necessary. It felt dirty. Kol studied him for a long moment, then glanced at Kai, who gave a small, grim nod of agreement. Secrets upon secrets, Kol muttered. This is how it starts, you know. The good intentions, the compartmentalized truth. This is how Aegis Corps began. The words landed like a blow. Rook had no answer for them. She was right. Maybe, he said finally, the weight of it bowing his shoulders. But we're not them. We remember the cost, and we're scared enough to be careful. He turned back to the screen, to the steady, patient pulse from the edge of everything. We see you, he thought. We're coming to look you in the eye. The phantom pain echoed in agreement, a deep, resonant note of inevitability. The dry dock was a cathedral of shadows and silent industry. Carved into Ceres' heart, behind layers of played-out mining tunnels and decommissioned refineries, it was a void within a rock, known only to Kol's most trusted engineers, and now to them. The air was cold, smelling of stone dust, ozone, and the sharp tang of fresh weld sealant. In the center of the cavern, suspended in a web of carbon fiber scaffolding and fiber optic cabling, Althea's promise was being reborn. Rook stood on a gantry, looking down at the pod. It was no longer just a scarred survivor. The matte black stealth coating, developed from purest radar-absorbent material and belt miner hull treatments, made it look like a slice of absolute darkness. New, streamlined cowlings housed the miniaturized substrate dampening field emitters, Kai's most audacious gamble. The old chemical thrusters had been supplemented by a low-output but highly efficient ion drive, scavenged from a dead survey probe. It was a hybrid creature, part ancient lifeboat, part cutting-edge ghost. Kai was inside the pod, her voice a muffled stream of technical chatter through an open access hatch. Interface is clean. Althea's core is synced with the primary navigation computer. It's not running anything, it's just present. A reference point. Rook climbed down the ladder and approached the hatch. A spiritual guide for the machine. Oh, Kai's grimy face appeared in the opening. Something like that. If the VIGIL station's security protocols look for friendly Aegis signatures, her research core's architecture might register as one. A familiar face at the door. She hauled herself out, wiping her hands on her stained coveralls. The self-destruct system is independent. Dual physical trigger, plus the automatic substrate harmony detection circuit. If the field fails and we start to resonate, it gives us a 5-minute window to countermand. If we don't, or can't. She didn't finish the sentence. A clean end. Rook finished for her. He appreciated the grim pragmatism of it. Who's we? A new voice asked. They turned. Elara Vance stood at the entrance to the dry dock, having descended the long access ladder. She was out of her formal jacket, wearing a practical flight suit, her hair tied back. She looked like the soldier from Mars, not the commander of the network. She must have come on a supply shuttle, in secret. "Commander," Kai said, straightening up. "I didn't know. I ordered the supply manifest for this project personally," Vance said, walking toward them, her eyes taking in the transformed pod. "I know every gram of titanium, every chip of silica that comes in here. Did you think I wouldn't come to see what it was becoming?" She stopped before the pod, reaching out to touch the stealth coating. It felt like cold, textured stone. "So, who's we?" Rook met her gaze. "The mission requires two, a pilot sensor, and an engineer-scientist." Vance's eyes flicked to Kai, then back to him. Understanding and a terrible fear dawned in them. "You and Kai. It's the only combination that makes sense," Rook said, his voice low. "I can feel the station. I'll know if we're walking into a harmonizing field before the sensors do. Kai built the systems. She's the only one who can fix them, interface with the station's tech, or sabotage it if necessary. And if you're both lost?" Vance's question was stripped of rank, raw. "Then you know the station is hostile, and you enact Jax's kinetic kill plan without having provoked an attack. You lose 2 people. You save 1,800. Don't," Vance whispered, the word fierce. "Don't talk about yourself like a piece on a game board." She turned away, pacing a few steps on the rock floor. "The council, they'll never approve this, not even the prep work, once Renn gets wind of it." "They won't know," Rook said. "Not until it's time. This is a black project, Elara, authorized by you and me, funded by Kol's discretionary reserves and material lost from salvage operations. We're already breaking a dozen protocols." Vance stared at him, and he saw the conflict warring within her. The commander who knew the brutal logic was sound, and the woman who had just found a fragile connection in the ruins of everything. "This is the path," she said, not quite a question. "It's a path," Rook corrected. "The only one that doesn't end in willful ignorance or preemptive murder. It's the noisy path, the messy one, the human one." She was silent for a long time, looking from him to the pod, a sleek shadow soon to be cast into the deepest dark. Finally, she nodded, the commander reasserting control, though her eyes remained haunted. "Then you make it ready, and you train, and you come up with a cover story for why the Director of External Security and my Chief of Advanced Systems are spending all their time on Ceres." She turned to leave, then stopped. Without looking back, she said, "The quiet was easier, in a way. The monster at the door is a simpler problem than the friend who might be a monster in the guest room." Then she was gone, climbing the ladder back toward the light and the weight of the civilization they were trying to build.